gentlemen, turn your speakers up. It's time for the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. A podcast discussing all things AEW and WWE.
Oh yeah!
Let's meet the hosts. First, a man hailing from the hub city in Indiana. He goes by @TooSweetKyle on Twitter. The host, Kyle Gagliardi. And your co-host, hailing from the valley of Lake Tahoe. He goes by @JimTuck89 on Twitter. Jim Tucker. And last but not least, hailing from the cornfield somewhere in Indiana, the full-time part-timer, Ian Garavaglia. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram @PodOnTheMark.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Mr. OTM, Kyle Gagliardi here from the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. Surprise, there is content this week. I know I said originally there wasn't going to be a podcast this week, which is true, but I figured I got some time this morning. I woke up, a little peek behind the curtain, I woke up at 5:30 a.m. For no reason, my body just said, hey, it was time to wake up. And, you know, when I'm awake, the wheels are turning and the ideas are churning, and I'm going to do some content today. So here we are, live, by the way. This will obviously be available, as always, on YouTube afterwards. So shout out to everybody that stops by after, but if anybody is here live, let me know what you think about WrestleMania 42, the build. Let me know some of the matches that you would like to personally see. And before I actually get into my match card, I want to explain a little bit of what went into the thought process here. I did use a little bit of WWE logic. Now, this isn't really a fantasy booking match card, so to say. It is and it isn't. I do have a couple matches that might be a little far-fetched, but I'm going to try and use context clues here. Use the WWE logic, look at the current storylines, and see where they maybe will be going here. But the MVM title will not be on the line. This is not a podcast. This is just a regular old YouTube upload, but it's good to see you, Kind. Thanks for stopping by. He's cooking up some scrambled eggs and toast. Just got back from the gym. I'm going to do that, but in the opposite order. I need to eat breakfast, and then I need to get into the gym for some chest. So good to see you're already grinding here on this wonderful Friday. Appreciate you, Kind, for checking this out. But while you guys are here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 600 subscribers here on OTM, the original On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. Just want to throw that out there. There is only one On the Mark Wrestling Podcast established in 2019. I'm not going to name names here, but you guys can come along for the journey. We're live every single week, except for this week, obviously, but I will make it my prerogative to get content out every single week from here on forward, especially since I still don't have a full-time job. This is how I keep the lights on over here at the condo. This is my full-time job now, is content creation. So if you want to support the show, just head to the OnTheMarkWrestlingPodcast.com. That's the best way to support the show, I should say, and get yourself some merch. It's going to get warmer out here soon. We got some tank tops and all that good stuff. And of course, show some love to the Main Event Wrestling Network. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the network. We are the flagship show of the Main Event. So if you enjoy what we do at OTM, you're probably going to enjoy what we are doing at the Main Event Wrestling Network. But that's enough shilling, enough chit-chat. Let's get into the meat and potatoes here. Mr. OTM's WrestleMania 42 match card. I did split it up by nights. Of course, there is 2 nights, and I think I divvied it up pretty fairly. And once again, this is just my preference and where I think they could potentially go with these title scenes. If you disagree, that is totally fine. And unfortunately, some people were left off the card. It was very hard for me to get every single person on this card. Granted, I don't know where Matt Cardona is going to be. I guess he could be in I don't know why he's the first name that came to mind, but he's the guy that I think could just be facing off against a Kit Wilson. That's the thing that you got to put into consideration here when you're talking about WrestleMania cards, is that not everybody's going to be on actual WrestleMania. They're going to do the Friday night SmackDown matches too. So I've been missing streams like Night Shift. Where have you been, Kind? Hitting the gym, eating right? Yeah, that's fair. You got to stay on schedule. I get it. Karrion Kross on it? Yeah, no Karrion Kross on this WrestleMania 42 match card. That's for sure. Is there like rumors heating up that he's coming back or something? I haven't seen anything. I know he was at a local Jewel Osco over here in the Chicagoland area on Monday, but I don't think he's going to be returning to WWE anytime soon. But this is live. I'm going to take a sip of this water. Let me know down below what you think about this card. Let's get into it. Let's have some fun. Let's start with WrestleMania Night 1, obviously going to be happening on Saturday. And the first matchup I want to talk about is one that is probably obvious to a lot of people and one that we expect to see here at WrestleMania. Becky Lynch, the Intercontinental Champion, taking on AJ Lee. Obviously, these two women are going to be having a match here at Elimination Chamber coming up next weekend. But I think that's just the beginning of this feud between these two. Obviously, they have had matches before in the mixed tag action at WrestlePalooza, but they haven't had that singles match yet. There's going to be shenanigans at the Elimination Chamber. I think they really were just saving the singles matches for the road to WrestleMania. You do one at the Chamber, you do it at WrestleMania, and then we're done with this feud. A lot of people don't like it. I enjoy it. I'm a big AJ Lee fan. I grew up watching AJ Lee, so obviously I'm going to lean towards her in this matchup in terms of who I want to win, but what Becky Lynch is doing right now is absolutely fantastic. Kind said some fans think he's coming back and it's a work. He's in Manchester this weekend for a wrestling convention. Interesting. He's doing an indie show 10 p.m. Saturday Night Mania weekend. So that kind of debunks everything right there. But this is a matchup that I think is fairly obvious that's going to happen. I don't think I'm going out on a limb by any means by saying that we're going to get Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee. And if you don't want to see it, that's fine. I think you're going to. I think this is one of the matches that is for sure going to be happening. I don't see how they could incorporate more women into this title scene unless they got Maxine and Natty involved. And that's another feud that I see being taken place the week of WrestleMania between Maxine and Natty. That'll probably be a Monday Night Raw match. I just don't see it happening on the grandest stage of them all. This is 100% happening, Kind said. AJ versus Becky will be a good feud and a fun build-up. I'd have AJ win at the Chamber to win the title, but I feel like she loses at Mania. See, that logistically makes the most sense, probably, for her to have it win it in Chicago, which is now like her adopted hometown, but I see it going the opposite way. I think they're going to give AJ a moment at WrestleMania, and then Becky Lynch can kind of spiral after WrestleMania and do some fun things. And yeah, that can be a submissions-only match on the Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania, I think, JT. So I think that's JT, right? I'm not sure. If I'm wrong there, I don't want to get the wrong names here, but I'm pretty sure that's you. I can't see that profile picture from far away. But yeah, this is the first match I think is going to happen. Put it on night one. I wouldn't even be surprised if it started the show. You always got to start hot and end hot, and I think this match is going to be good. Hey, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. I know it's early in the morning over there in Las Vegas, which, by the way, are you going to WrestleMania? If so, this is going to be one of the better matches, I think. Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee. Book it. That's a Mr. OTM guarantee right there. Raw tag team titles. I don't know what they call the tag team titles. I'm still calling it by their brand. But this one is pretty much a modern day, I guess, fantasy matchup between three great tag teams. Let's just put the best of the best that we got. It's time to reunite the Lucha Brothers. I know they want to keep pushing it back, but Rey Fenix ain't doing shit by himself, and Penta's kind of floundering. I'm tired of Penta just hanging out in the El Grande Americano feuds. He needs something serious, and I think that tag team division needs the Lucha Brothers bad. They need to switch up in general, and they need to just put some more attention on people like the War Raiders, American Made. There's plenty of talent on Monday Night Raw. I just don't see them being booked into any spots to get on this card. That's why I left all those people off the card, if that makes sense. But I could see them reuniting the Lucha Brothers here in the next couple weeks. I think they're going to realize they need to get Penta on that card because he's a massive sell. He's a mainstream appeal. And the Usos and the New Day have that history. And every time they wrestle, it's like what I said on Kayfabe Coffee when I recap Dynamite. If I'm getting FTR versus the Young Bucks, I'm not complaining. If I'm getting the Usos versus the New Day, I'm not complaining. We throw the Lucha Brothers in there, Why not? Let's have some fun. And honestly, let's put the titles on the Lucha Brothers. I don't think the Usos should be holding those titles much longer. But that tag team match on night one could be a lot of fun. You know they love to do the multi-man matches just to get everybody on the card, and rightfully so. I think that could be a lot of fun for those tag team titles. And another matchup that I think is going to be, I don't know if it's for sure going to happen because there is rumors that this man is going to be facing another opponent, but this is what I want to see. We saw it teased in the Royal Rumble. Give me Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi at WrestleMania 42 and have Obafemi go over. There is nothing else that Brock Lesnar needs to do in the WWE to prove himself. He has nothing left to accomplish. He's an older guy. He's a part-timer. He doesn't need this. Brock Lesnar does not need this match. He doesn't need this win. Obafemi does. Obafemi's the next monster in the WWE. Don't screw this up, WWE. If you do it, Obafemi has to go over Brock Lesnar. There is no other way. Kind said I'd like the Lucha Bros to be a tag team in WWE, as would I. Would definitely take them as champions coming out of Mania. Book it. Let's do it. Works for me. Oba versus Brock. Oba goes over. Looks a beast. Perfect. Yeah, and that's all you need to do. Sometimes it's the simple matches that just make... It's obvious. I know it's obvious. I'm not going out on a limb by saying Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar, even though LA Knight is the rumored match. I think this match is way more interesting than LA Knight facing Brock Lesnar. LA Knight, Brock Lesnar just screams Dean Ambrose, Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania to me. I want nothing a part of that. Give me two monster men, two meaty men going at it. Make it an 8-minute car crash match, and let's have some fun. Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar. If you don't do this match, WWE, you have severely dropped the ball. I'm saying it right now. This is a matchup. I don't care what your thoughts are about Brock Lesnar as a human being. As a wrestler, this is a dream matchup. And if this is Brock's last year, you have to do Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar. And then I think you have to have Gunther retire Brock Lesnar in his hometown at SummerSlam. That's just where I would see Brock Lesnar going forward. We need to get those matches. Hey, Eric, what's going on, man? Thanks for stopping by. I know you didn't hear me earlier, but I'm going off of WWE logic and my logic here. So it's a mixture of fantasy booking and kind of what we are seeing on TV. But if we don't get Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar, I think that's a missed opportunity for sure. This next matchup, listen, injuries threw a wrinkle into this card. There are a lot of injuries right now in the WWE, which is probably going to make it difficult for them to book the card. And that's why it was kind of difficult for me to come up with a card. Yeah, I didn't know I was going live either, Eric. I decided I had some time this morning, so I would give my WrestleMania 42 match card predictions. But this match right here doesn't even excite me, and I'm the one that made it, but I think it's the direction they're probably going to have to go, and that's LA Knight and Seth Rollins teaming up, because I think Seth Rollins might come back in time to take on the Vision. Obviously, this would be a non-title match, and we have to get LA Knight on the card. It's not fun, it's not exciting, because there's no Braun Breaker probably going to be involved in WrestleMania. Otherwise, I would have said Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker in a singles matchup, and you could have done the Vision versus, somebody else. I don't know, but yeah, it's not the most exciting matchup by any means. There's no titles on the line here. I think it's just going to be a grudge feud match that they will put on the card. I'm not really feeling the Vision, and once again, a lot of it has to do with the fact that Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker got injured, which has kind of ruined any momentum for this story whatsoever. But you're not going to leave the Vision off the card or LA Knight off the card, and I think Seth Rollins will be back in time. Once again, not the sexiest play here, but you got to have kind of filler matches. I know it's WrestleMania and you want to do big matches, but these are big names that you have to have on the card. And I just had to figure that we're going to put them in a tag team match and we're going to see what happens. It's not the most exciting thing, like I said, but it's a direction I could see them definitely going. Now, the women's title on SmackDown, dude, I have no idea. I was just kind of picking and plugging and trying to find spots for people because there really is no definitive direction unless Liv were to pivot and go to Jade, but that's not the direction I see things going. I see Jade Cargill potentially facing off against both Jordan and Tiffany Stratton. Jordan Grace, obviously, that is, because Jordan Grace has had some opportunities in the title scene as of late. And then again, they could just run that back in a singles form with Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton, which might be the direction they go. But man, I don't really care to see that anymore because the first time these two fought, I wasn't too excited about the feud. The Jade run as champion hasn't been great, but once again, there's just so many injuries on Friday Night SmackDown. I know Michin's hurt. I know Chelsea Green's hurt. I know I'm probably forgetting a couple names. Naomi is pregnant. Bianca Belair's hurt. So it's like, what else are they going to do? There's really not many other names on that SmackDown roster that could step up. That could be fun. I have a different opponent for Julia that you'll see here very shortly. I don't want to spoil it, but I think Tiffany's just a main eventer, and Jordynne Grace doesn't carry enough weight in a singles match, in my opinion, to do Jade versus Jordan as a singles. So you throw Tiffany in there, at least you get some star power in that matchup. And they've been doing triple threats recently. They did it last year for the women's title, so I think this is just what they had to do. I wouldn't have been surprised if their original plans months and months ago was Jade versus Naomi versus Bianca. You got to pivot, unfortunately, due to injuries. You got to get Jordynne Grace on the card because she has been doing some good things. There's no way Tiffany Stratton, who was used in the video packages, off the card, put her in the title match. I also would like what Eric said with Julia, but my prediction for Julia is actually more of a wild card. I don't see it realistically happening. This is just one of my personal favorites, and I wanted to get her on the card. And if you look at the mid-card title scene right now on SmackDown, there's not a lot of names. And I think Candice LeRae is somebody that has been severely underutilized over the past couple years on the main roster. She's kind of just been treated as a side character and a tag team wrestler. But if you give her the chance to shine, she can show you that she can go from bell to bell. She wrestles better than half the men on that roster. She just hasn't got the chance to show it. I could see Julia versus Candice LeRae honestly being a great match if they actually gave these two time. And granted, I think a lot of building would have to go into Candice LeRae before this matchup. This is more of a wild card. There's other names like Zelina Vega that might carry a little bit more weight, or hell, maybe they would turn Kiana James and have Kiana James go up against Julia at WrestleMania. I think that's definitely a possibility as well. It's just I really want to see more for Candice LeRae. And I think now that Ciampa's out of the equation, there's going to be a lot more focus on Candice and Johnny as a whole. You have Johnny go for the U.S. title. You have Candice go for the U.S. title. And you have some fun there. And I think there could be some way stuff involved as well. Obviously, you don't have Indy and Austin Theory anymore in the way, but their version of the way with Johnny and Candice. And once again, that's more of a personal thing. I don't see this being realistic at all. If anything, this is probably the least realistic match that I have on this card, but I think it could be a very good one. Give me Julia versus Candice LeRae for the Women's United States title, which then would take us to one more match on night one of WrestleMania 42. It's going to be a fatal four-way. I think Drew McIntyre is going to defend his title against Cody Rhodes, Jacob Fatu, and Randy Orton, just based off the fact that these four have been intertwined for the past couple months on Friday Night SmackDown. And honestly, I couldn't tell you the last time they did a fatal four-way for the major WWE Championship on WrestleMania, or if they've even done that. I can't think of one off the top of my head. I can think of plenty of triple threats, but I'm sure the chat will correct me if I'm wrong. I just don't see these matches being split up. I mean, they could. They could do Randy versus Cody by itself and Jacob versus Drew by itself, or any other iteration, but I see it going exactly how it went last year. 7 matches, I think, on each night. So this is the only spot that you can get all of them on the card. And I think it's going to be for the title, obviously, here. Fatal 4-Way, odds aren't in Drew's favor in this matchup, but it would be a really good one. Obviously, there's a lot of history here, too, between all these 4 men, and hopefully this would be the conclusion of Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, and Jacob Fatu, because it seems to be a main focus on those 3, which is probably the more likely direction they will go, is if it's a triple threat, and then maybe Randy could do something with Sami. I'll tell you what, right now I have no spot for Sami Zayn on the card. And that's crazy, because originally I had Sami Zayn potentially winning the Royal Rumble, but I don't have a spot for Sami Zayn on this card. Maybe they can make this a 5-way, but that's a little too much for me, personally, for the WWE Championship. So I don't know what direction they're going to go for the world title. It is very confusing, which is also something that makes things interesting. It is boring when you know the direction of where WWE is going to go, and it's kind of fun to predict these outcomes, because anybody can really be right when it comes to this title match. This is just what I would like to see. I like multi-men matches. It might not be for you, but hell, Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu and Randy Orton for that WWE title. Main event night 1. That'd be a lot of fun. It's not the sexiest match by any means, but I think it could be a lot of fun. So that's my night 1 card. We're going to move things on over to night 2 then. Another 7-match card here for night 2. And let's start off hot with the Raw Women's title. Let's go with the matchup that has kind of been shoved in our faces as of late. Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Valkyrie. Obviously, this seems to be the direction that they are going in. They've spent a lot of time the last couple weeks since Liv Morgan won the Women's Royal Rumble building this matchup. It obviously hasn't been made official yet, but you could see the writing on the wall. I think this one's going to be happening. And I would be very surprised, honestly, if Liv did not take that women's title at WrestleMania. I think it's going to be a big year for Liv Morgan in the WWE. She seems to be one of their top stars. And since she won the Rumble, she's obviously going to get a title opportunity. I wouldn't be surprised then again if she did pivot to Jade, just based on the fact that they don't have much talent on SmackDown to build up for that champion. But this is the match for me. I'm excited for it. Stephanie Valkyrie has shown a different side to her, a more intensity, I guess you would say, on TV. It's a shame that they took away her theme song, though. WWE, I'm looking at you. That's some bullshit. Don't ever do that again. Bring it back. But this is a matchup that's, once again, a very predictable one that a lot of us see coming. But I think it's going to be money. I think it's going to be a lot of fun for sure. Eric says he thinks it's going to be a 4-way with Liv, Stephanie, Raquel, and Roxanne. I don't think so, just based off of what we heard recently with Roxanne Perez and her injury. I had to leave Roxanne and Raquel off the card based off of Roxanne's injury. I don't know if she's going to be good to go in time. Then again, she might be, but those two didn't make my card just based off of that information alone. So that's why my matchup for the women's title. I didn't want to have 2 multi-women matches for the women's title either, because that seems a little bit overkill. And you know WWE likes to do these multi-team matches for the tag titles, so I did that with the women. The women's tag division has had a refocus, if you will. It's actually interesting. So let's put together 4 of the hottest teams right now on Monday Night Raw. You got Rio, which is Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. You got the Bella Twins, who just reunited. Obviously, they're going to get on the card, whether you like it or not. They're going to be on the WrestleMania 42 card. You got to get the Kabuki Warriors. Excuse me. Sorry. Doing it live, pal. Kabuki Warriors got to get on the card. Maybe this is where they split. Who knows? Or maybe this is where Bayley and Lyra split. I think this is just a way to get everybody on the card, and they put a big emphasis on the women's tag team division as of late. Obviously, I could have probably thrown Lash Legend and Nia Jax into this card, but I mean, that just seems a little overkill. Not everybody's going to make the card, unfortunately. There's going to have to be people for the Andre Memorial Battle Royal. Lash Legend's probably going to win that. I think they do it for the women, right? Or is it just the men's? I could be wrong. Watch a lot of wrestling. I talk a lot of wrestling, so I'm going to forget things from time to time, so bear with me, people. But getting these 4 teams on the card, I think it's the safest play. It's not the... I think it actually could be a really good match. Now, the Bella Twins don't do it for me, but this one could be good, especially with the stories that they've been telling recently with the women's tag team division. So we got 5 more matchups here on night 1 of WrestleMania 42 match card predictions. Here's another matchup that I think is fairly obvious. Dom Mysterio versus Finn Balor. The writing's on the wall once again with this one. We know Finn Balor is going to be taking on CM Punk next week at Elimination Chamber, live at the Allstate Arena, but he's not winning that title. Let's be real. You're not getting your Daniel Bryan moment here. There's no yes movement. This isn't a Kofi Kingston moment ready to happen. It's going to be Finn Balor turning face, returning to form, and then taking that title off of Dominic Mysterio. And Dom, unfortunately, has lost a little bit of heat and just buzz as of late because he hasn't been doing much. He's kind of just a side character in the Judgment Day. Him holding that title hostage ain't doing anything good for that IC title. If anything, we need Finn Balor to become champion. Start presenting that title a little bit more on television. Let's heat up that that Intercontinental title division, because it really has been obsolete the past few months. This has the best build, obviously, going into it. They got history with the Judgment Day. Finn Balor starting to heat up as of late. Could be a lot of fun. I think Dom versus Finn Balor for the IC title is a slam dunk, and it will definitely happen at WrestleMania 42. Another matchup I think is more than likely going to happen, and we haven't really seen the dissension yet, but you can't have WrestleMania without Charlotte Flair. She's good to go. I think Alexa Bliss versus Charlotte Flair is the move for WrestleMania. Obviously, they've been friends for the past year, but I would like to see Alexa Bliss turn heel. I think a lot of people would assume Charlotte Flair would be the one to turn heel, but that's something we've seen before. I think Charlotte's actually naturally getting over organically as a babyface with the WWE audience. And I think this singles match makes a lot of sense with the amount of story that they have told between this pairing over the past calendar year. Let's blow it off at WrestleMania. It's as simple as that, people. Alexa Bliss versus Charlotte Flair could be a lot of fun. I could also see Kairi versus Asuka. That could definitely be a singles match, but I think more of the dissension at WrestleMania could be more fun of a story between the Kabuki Warriors, but who knows? The next matchup is not everyone's cup of tea, but it's another one I think they're definitely going to do. El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano. It's going to happen, people. The original El Grande Americano, who's Chad Gable, is going to face off against Ludwig Kaiser, and we're probably going to get unmasking of sorts. It's going to have to end eventually. We can't have two El Grande Americanos for the rest of time, but we definitely can have one because I do think this gimmick works. And if you don't believe me, watch AAA. It's definitely over in AAA. It's over in some spots in the U.S. I think it's fun. I think it's going to be a good one. If you actually let Chad Gable and Ludwig Kaiser cook, they're going to have a great match. And El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano, more than likely going to happen, people, whether you like it or not. You got to have a gimmicky match or two on the card. Throw the mask off. Ludwig loses. Chad Gable says, "Gracias!" and then just walks away. It's going to happen. I'm warning you now. 2 more matches to talk about. 2 more matches on my 42 match card. You have to have the classic ladder match. I wasn't going to go without having a ladder match. And what better title to have the ladder match for than the U.S. title? Because the U.S. title division is actually starting to heat up right now. And I think a matchup with these names could be fun. And I misspoke. I do have Sami Zayn on the card. I forgot I put him in this matchup. So for the U.S. title, this is going to be a ladder match. These are a lot of names that just need to get on the card, but they are in that title scene right now. So I think these names make sense. And I kept Cardona and Kit Wilson off because I think Cardona versus Kit Wilson could be a matchup on like a Friday Night SmackDown or something going into WrestleMania weekend. But I got Carmelo Hayes, Johnny Gargano, Trick Williams, Ilya Dragunov, Shinsuke Nakamura, Damian Priest, Tama Tonga, and Sami Zayn in an 8-man U.S. title ladder match. Let's get crazy. Let's have fun. These are a lot of NXT legends. I think mixing up this group of individuals could be a really insane matchup. I mean, there's a lot of history, too, with Carmelo Hayes and Gargano, Trick Williams, Ilya Dragunov. Damian Priest has NXT ties. Tama Tonga's been dipping his toes into the U.S. title scene because I do think MFT is probably going to drop the tag team titles. I don't know who to, but they're going to drop it by WrestleMania. I don't see them holding the title, so I think Tama Tonga could be one of those people that actually walks out with the title. Don't be surprised. All those names except Trick have recently been involved in the U.S. title scene. Excellent idea for this one. That's what my thought process was, GBH. You know how they love to get everybody on the card, too? And it logically makes sense. Maybe I should have thrown Fraxium in there, or like Nathan Frazier and Axiom I could see getting involved as well. And no Aleister Black. It was tough. I know. Dude, you try to make a card and get everyone on the card. With 14 matches, it is very difficult. I struggled, man. It's once again, your favorites aren't going to make the card. There's the Andre Battle Royal. I could see Aleister in that. Just don't see a direction for him. Apollo Crews, same thing. He's probably going to be in the Battle Royal. You got to have those people on Friday in Raw. I'm sorry. It might hurt people that are fans of these people that I'm mentioning, but it's the truth. Some people are going to have to work Raw and work SmackDown. Not everybody can get on the WrestleMania card, but these 8, I think would cook. I think that'd be a very fun ladder match right there. And then the last matchup, it's happening. This isn't a spoiler. This isn't a prediction. It is official. Roman Reigns versus CM Punk will main event night 2 of WrestleMania. I mean, what is there to say that hasn't already been said? We know that this is going to be going down, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Roman Reigns and CM Punk, these are their 2 biggest stars right now. So you might as well run it with the 2 biggest names that you got in your company, because there is some history there as well. And I think Aleister Black probably will win the Battle Royal. Now that I think about it, that's probably your favorite to win the Royal Rumble. And another thing that people aren't considering, too, with this hypothetical match card is injuries, man. These injuries have really thrown a wrinkle. I don't know the status of a lot of people, but hopefully nobody gets injured in this match because this is 100% going to be the main event of night 2 of WrestleMania. CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. And once again, that's not a prediction. That actually has been announced. We know that is going to happen. So overall, from top to bottom, there it is. 14 matches. I even sprinkled in a little bit of Monday Night Raw and SmackDown fun. But I want people in the comment section right now, because most of you are probably watching this on the replay. Let me know down below what your WrestleMania 42 card is looking like. And once again, I want to preface this by saying I kind of incorporate a little bit of WWE logic, what they have shown us on TV. But I also mixed in a little bit of my fantasy booking of what I wanted to see. Eric, I'm not talking TNA. Like I said on Tino's stream last night, I don't really care enough about TNA to talk about it. And if my heart and my passion isn't there fully, I wouldn't be doing it a justice enough to be covering that company. So I want to familiarize myself a little bit more with TNA, watch it consistently, and really get into a flow before I start talking about TNA. GBH said CM Punk gets his singles main event, walking in champ. Punk winning clean against Roman was definitely part of the deal to come back. Definitely shows both have moved on and matured. I agree with the latter. I don't agree with Punk winning. I think Roman Reigns is going to win that title. I think that definitely is going to get Punk that singles main event. So he'll now have the singles main event and an actual WrestleMania main event. But I still don't see Roman losing. And I'm like almost 90% confident on that. With so much developmental talent, the Andre Memorial should be NXT, AAA, and Evolve. And I think that's mainly what it is going to be, plus the names that I unfortunately had to leave off the card. But it's tough, guys. We are 2 months away from WrestleMania. My stomach is growling, which is my cue to get the hell out of here. But we did a little impromptu upload. I appreciate you guys stopping by here on the OTM YouTube channel. And while you're here, don't forget to subscribe, guys. We are on the road to 600 subscribers. Next week's show will not be on Thursday. That I know for sure because we will be having an interview Thursday over on the main event with Warrior Women's Champion Tootie Lynn. And breaking news, the graphic will be coming out a little sooner. Her opponent, Jazzy Yang, will also be joining us for that mixer next Thursday. So no OTM on Thursday. More than likely, OTM will be on Wednesday next week. I'm going to have to talk to Tuck and Ian, because we're obviously going to have to talk about Elimination Chamber. But I appreciate you guys hanging out. For me, like I said earlier, leave me your WrestleMania 42 match card predictions as of today. If you like this video, things might change in a month. Let me know. I might do one next month in March, and we can compare the two. I think this could be a fun series going forward. But appreciate you guys for listening, and thank you all for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.